morning. This is Member Brown. Can you hear me?
I can. Good morning.
Can.
Perfect.
We can.
I had a problem last time I signed in. So I thought I'd come in early and make sure all is well. Um,
Perfect.
um, I am supposed to help with swearing in and reading today, but I don't have the oath that people need to take.
Maurice will put that up on the screen for you. You
Okay.
just have to read that when he puts it up.
Perfect. So the only thing I have to read is what Maurice puts on the screen.
Right, you're just swearing people in, right? You're not reading the agenda item, right?
I don't know. No one gave me instructions, so I am here
Yeah, I
only
think-
to affirm what you want me to do.
Oh, sure. Alana is here. She'll read in the description of the case. I wasn't sure if you had talked to the chairperson or something about doing
At
different
the end of the
stuff.
last meeting, they asked me to do the reading, and that was the extent of it.
Okay. Yeah, it's just the swearing in of people.
Got it. Will do.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Barnes.
Good
Good morning.
morning.
Okay, 9:30, Liz, we can get started.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning on October 4th, 2021. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law in section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of the Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Next slide, Maurice.
Okay, go ahead, call the roll, Liz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Barnes,
Ms. Barnes here.
Ms. Brown,
Present.
Ms. Bates,
Present.
Ms. Britt.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Wonderful.
And Madam Chair, here is the first postponement, and I believe the only postponement that we have on the agenda this morning, and that is calendar number 21-143 regarding 1041 Auburn Avenue. The owner proposed to erect a 3 to 4 story single-family residence with attached garage in a B1 2-family residential district. The appellant needs an additional postponement. I believe this would be the second postponement to allow time to continue to work with the community regarding the review of the project. And he needs time also in order to allow more time for the ownership of the property to be changed. And so he would need the dates sometime in December of this year. And so I'm thinking maybe the 13th, the 20th. Of course, we don't have anything on the agenda yet.
Give them the 13th. And I'll grant it since he doesn't have the ownership situation worked out yet. So that's fine.
Okay, thank you. I believe that's all that we have this morning, Maurice. You can go to the next slide. Ready to rock and
Okay.
roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see any council people, so go ahead, Ms. Faith.
I don't either. So here we go. Maybe we're gonna have a straight
straight shot through the agenda today. So we'll begin with calendar number 21-151. This is at 7615 Lawn Avenue. The City of Cleveland Land Revitalization Program owner and the Detroit Sherway Homes LP prospective purchaser proposed to erect a 5-foot by 6-foot womanized wooden landing and ramp attached to a proposed 1-story frame single-family residence. The ramp will be 25 feet long and extend to the front yard sidewalk. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2, and number 2 states that the city planning design review approval is required for this. And I believe, Ms. Brown, you're going to take on the swearing in today. Is that true?
Yes, I will.
Right. Thank you very much. So I'll turn it over to you.
All right, so I am swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? If you do, please raise your hand and say, I do, then state your name and your address.
I
Is
do.
anyone here?
Yes, I do. Katie Gillette with City Architecture, 12205 Larchmere Boulevard.
Okay, anyone else? Thank you, Katie. You are sworn in.
Thank you.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administrative Office, I found that in 1894, a permit was issued to erect a barn on this property. In 1926, a permit was issued to erect an addition to the house on the site. And then in 1929, a permit was issued to erect a deck and porch. There are no variances on file for this address and nothing of note in the recent history in our Acela system. And Madam Chair, I would also like to at this time state that we do have an authorization letter from the City of Cleveland allowing the applicant to act on their behalf today.
Thank you. Not sure if we needed what happened in 1849, but thanks, Liz.
I thought it was very interesting. Thank you.
Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting an area variance from the side yard requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Go ahead, Katie.
All right, good morning. Thank you for your time this morning. I'm Katie Gillette with City Architecture, and we are working with CHN Housing Partners to develop 30 new single-family homes in the Detroit Shoreway neighborhood. And this is part of a lease purchase model. It's a 15-year pathway to homeownership for low-income families, and it's primarily funded through tax credits from the Ohio Housing Finance Agency. For the site selection of these 30 homes, we worked very closely with city planning, Adam Davenport in particular, as well as community development to find 30 vacant lots to develop these new single-family homes. And some of the factors that went into the selection included transit. We were very cognizant of existing trees and trying to preserve as many trees on the properties as possible. And as I will describe in a little bit, constructing some of the homes proves a little bit challenging. The program of the 30 homes includes 28 two-story homes and 2 single-story accessible homes. They're all 3 bedrooms. Next slide, please. This slide shows some examples of previous homes that CHN has constructed throughout the city of Cleveland. They've been doing these infill single-family homes for many years right now. They are very well regarded for their work throughout the state in building these homes. Next slide, please. The property in question is at 7615 Lawn Avenue. It's between West 76th and West 80th Street. It's highlighted on the map here. Next slide, please. And here is the view from Lawn Avenue of the property. We were actually on this green space here that these are two lots. We are going to be constructing a 2-story home on the left side and a single-story accessible home on the right side. Next slide, please. And the variance that we are seeking this morning is regarding the interior side yard. The zoning code calls for a 3-foot setback. So this slide shows what is required. Next slide, please. And this is the encroachment that we are seeking approval for. And then next slide. And so this site plan explains how we plan to develop these two properties. Again, we're seeking the variance for the property on the west side. The home itself has been laid out to avoid any other variances. So the house itself will have 5-foot setbacks from either interior side yard. It will have an attached garage, which will be accessed from the rear alley. Now the site itself actually has a 2-foot grade difference from the front to the back of the site. And because of that, and because of our desire and requirement to make this home fully accessible, we do need to construct a ramp. And we had looked at various options to construct a ramp. We looked at, an option to avoid zoning variances, which would essentially require a ramp along in the entire front yard. Aesthetically, it would really, would really detract from the house. So this option here to construct the ramp in the interior side yard proved to be the most optimal solution for our team, and that is the variance we're seeking this morning. As I mentioned, we have worked very closely with city planning, and we also have support from the local Northwest Neighborhood CDC. And with that, I will open it to any questions.
Thank you. This is pretty simple. Do we have anyone from city planning, or is it Maurice?
Just me.
Okay, Maurice, go ahead.
Yeah, we support the variances as Ms. Gillette stated. The City Planning Commission, specifically Adam Davenport, has worked closely with them coming up with this site plan and this project, so we are in full support.
Thank you. Board, any questions, motions?
Madam Chair, no questions. I think this is an extensive project that has been, well thought through its many iterations. And this is just a ramp so that it can be ADA accessible. So I move that we go ahead and approve calendar number 21-151.
Have a second?
This is Member Brown, I second.
Member Brown, second. Go ahead, call the roll, please, Ms. Kukla.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Bay,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar 21-151 is granted to be ratified next week, and we will send you a letter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along. Calendar number 21-120. This is at 2280 West 6th Street. Aaron Price, owner, proposes to erect a four-story frame single-family residence with attached garage in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances, as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are four, the fourth one being that city planning approval is required prior to issuance of the building permit. And the first postponement of this case, which was on September 13th, was made at the request of the councilman to allow for community review. I will turn it over to you, Ms. Brown.
I am swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, state, I do, your name and your address.
I do. My name is Mark Verdova, and my address is 459 Dunwoody Drive in Aurora, Ohio.
You are sworn in, Mark. Anyone else?
I do. Donna Gregonis, Neighborhood Development Director for Fremont and Ohio City CDCs. 3308 Lorraine Avenue is our office. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. You're sworn in. I believe that's everyone for this case.
Okay, thank you. History of the property, please.
I do. I can't.
Oh, we have another one?
I think someone else is trying to say something, but it's all broken up.
Oh, would you be able to raise your hand, say your name, and state your address? We do not hear you. Are you on mute? We see you. Okay. Go ahead.
I do. 1026 Auburn.
Can you say
Patricia
your name, please?
Boysonet. Patricia Boysonet. V like in Victor. O-I-S-I-N-E-T.
Thank you. I heard you. You're sworn in, Ms. Boysonet.
Okay, Liz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned to general retail in 1926. It was changed to the current two-family residential district in 1963. In our records room, we found that in 1970, a permit was issued for corrections to a three-family dwelling. 1977, a permit was issued to demolish a multifamily dwelling on site. There are no variances on file for this address, and in the more recent history in our Acela system, we found that between the years of 2005 and 2010, there were vacant lot cleanup payments assessed to the property. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from the garage placement, maximum gross floor area, and side yard requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. So who's going to be the spokesperson for this case?
I will, please. My name is Mark Verdova. I appreciate you all having me and giving us a platform to be able to discuss the project. I am kind of a last second substitution. Our architect, Mike Cato, is out of town, so forgive me as the backup quarterback here. I might fumble a little bit, so please help me walk through this. But, long story short, Aaron Price would like to build a new home on this property. And, to your point, we are of the understanding that we're not allowed to have a front load garage. We don't have any rear alley access. And our client did not want to have a detached garage for, pretty obvious reasons in our climate here. So the first variance that we were looking to accomplish was the side yard setback so that we'd have enough room to have a driveway and to have access to be able to get into the garage safely and practically. So that I think was the first one to address. And then, in general, the setback as well, based on the size of the lot, to get to a 50-foot setback wouldn't fit. So we were politely requesting I think what's about a 30-foot setback. And then the lot coverage, as was stated, the house plan is, I believe, 2,000, looking at my notes here, 2,645 square feet. So not a large home, but larger than I believe what the standard is. And then the only other thing that I would add, because I know that Ms. Gregonis is on the call, they've been really cooperative with us to help accommodate us to go through the block club and also the economic development. And so there's been a bunch of emails swirling around. We are not final approved by either of those. But some emails came out saying that we could have this meeting, and then we do plan on hopefully earning an approval from both of those boards this week before ratification of our project would be done. So again, I don't know if I'm sharing information I shouldn't, but my understanding is that we're going through these steps, and we're hoping to seek your approval today. We're hoping to earn the approval from both the Economic Development and the Block Club this week, and then hopefully have a more formal thumbs up from everyone next week. So that's everything that I know, and I guess I would maybe turn it back over to the board and ask what, if anything else, I should be sharing.
Yeah, Mark, I have a question. It doesn't look like it's a super large home. So the excessive square footage, is that because the basement is active or attic is active, or?
This is where I'm probably stumbling a bit. I thought I saw somewhere on a letter that like you were supposed to have like a certain percentage of the size of the lot for coverage, and it was only like 1,600 feet or something. So we're over that.
Okay. Okay, I was just asking. No.
Yeah, no, great question. Hopefully I answered it right.
No need to sweat about that one. Okay.
Well, you know what? The client and Mike Cato are both going to kill me if I mess this up this morning. So I'm more nervous than normal. I don't want to be the one that comes off the call and they go, "You guys blew it."
Okay, well, this is recorded. So if you come up missing, we'll have some suspects. So, okay.
All good.
Donna, you want to go ahead and chime in?
Hi, good morning, Madam Chair and members of the commission. Thank you again for allowing us to speak. So Mr. Verdova is correct. They have been working really closely with us. So tonight actually is the Block Club meeting, and then Thursday's Economic Development Committee meeting. And I know we don't like to push any of these projects, but the only variance that we think might be a concern and likely will be for the community and the Economic Development Committee of Fremont will be the two-foot side yard. That will likely be a problem because the city they would probably be opposed to it because the city has created a standard that 3 feet is the normal, and 2 feet might be a little much. So just wanted to request a specific postponement for that issue for final review, because I know that they might want to move it to 3 feet instead. So I hope you could take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Maurice, City.
I think I would agree with that. You know how I feel about these 3 foot or variances for less than 3 feet. On the side yards. I would like to see the 3 feet. Mark, do you know why there's absolutely no more room? So first of all, you're doing a shared driveway arrangement here, correct?
Yes, that's the idea for what would be another home on the other lot. And so without that, if you do the math, the driveway, I believe, gets to be about 8 feet, which is just tight, and then you're a little bit tighter as well to be able to drive in and turn and get into the garage. So a lot of this is birthed by the garage. If it were a front entry garage allowed, this certainly wouldn't be an issue. Or if we had access from the back, wouldn't be an issue. But neither of those are there. So that's what has kind of guided us down this path. And so yeah, we're hoping to get a variance of another foot to the side.
I guess one more question. Looking at the drawing here, it looks like the rear part of the house, which is again where the garage is closer to the property line. So is that the 2 foot section? And if so, what do you know what the distance is in the front part of the house? Because it's not dimensioned, so I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's okay. Let me flip to another screen here. So the front of the building of the home is right now about 12 feet off the front line, and then the beginning of where the garage is would be, I believe that's closer to, or I'm sorry, hang on one second here.
No, I'm looking for the side yards, not the front yard.
Yeah, the side yard is the setback we're talking about then to the far side, to the right side or to the left side that we're asking.
Okay, gotcha.
2 feet. I'm sorry.
But so then how far is the front portion of the house from the property line on the right side there?
So from the front property line, it's 12 feet. You're asking from the right side property line?
hold on a minute. Let me see if I can annotate this so you can
Thank you.
so you can see what's going on here. So I'm asking for what this I don't know. Can you see the red dot?
Yes, I can.
I'm looking for that dimension, and I'm assuming this is the 2 feet, and I'm wondering what this is.
Yeah, I don't have that labeled. I can look that up, but I would say with confidence that's at least 3 feet.
So this is 3, and the rear portion where the garage is 2.
Yeah, so only for part of the building are we looking to have it be 2. And again, I could find out for sure and document that, but it's at least 3. It's certainly at least a foot more that way, even without having it scaled. So we're compliant for the majority of the dwelling, just the garage portion. I'm trying to get a accommodation. And I apologize if there's an echo. There is on my end. Hopefully that's not too annoying for you guys.
Yeah. This is a tough one. I'm not sure how I come down on this actually, because we are very much in favor of having the side-loaded garage as opposed to a front-loaded garage. So we commend you for doing that. We also commend you for doing a shared driveway arrangement. We're minimizing the number of curb cuts in the project. So there are some, positive things going on here. And you're right. It's unfortunate you don't have the rear alley access. That would be best case scenario, obviously, especially down in that area. So I'm really just restating the issues here. I think I would leave it up to the board as to what or the local community to make a decision on whether you support the 2 feet in the back or not.
I have a question.
Sure.
Go ahead, Member Brown.
Chair, may I ask my question?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. My question has to do with maintenance of that section of the property. And will it also be 4-story, and how would someone access it in the future?
Good questions. And the maintenance is always the issue that we always are concerned with when you're going less than the 3-foot side yard, because it makes it harder to get in there. Now, of course, we have a vacant lot next door, and it is towards the rear portion of the lot that you have the 2-foot encroachment.
Yeah, and it's the garage and not actually the house. So
Well, is it also, are you building on top of the garage, or what is the height of the garage?
So again, this is one of the things I didn't have all this stuff ready, so bear with me, but we are building over top of it. So the building itself is 4 stories, and we are building over it. The garage is not necessarily just a 1-story.
Yeah.
We do have a letter of support from the neighbor allowing us to use and access their lot. And then obviously our client owns the other lot to the left. So in terms of building, accessing the lot, maintenance of the lot, we've got people on either side that are in agreement to work together.
Madam Chair, I believe that somebody is unmuted, so we're having that echo issue.
yep, I believe it's Ms. Boycinette who I haven't called on yet. So Maurice, can you mute her until we get to her, please?
Sure. There we go. I will say to Ms. Brown that I think this drawing here kind of shows you that, where the garage is, and that it is, a portion of it is not the full 4 stories.
That's pretty tall. The question then is, the lot next door is currently vacant, I think, according to the site plan. And Mr. Verdova is saying that the owner is giving you access. Is it an easement? Because that would make all the difference.
So what it was a letter of support. When we started in talking with the block club, it was a matter of, hey, are we going to have access on that other site? It's very tight. And so, my project manager, Justin Music, had reached out to the neighbor of the vacant lot, let's say to the right of us, if you're standing at the street, to discuss, collaboration, and that he was in support of the project and support of where we were setting our house and didn't have any problem as the immediate next door neighbor. But there isn't like it's not like we granted or extended our lot into his or something. It was just a matter of documented support of the project and not having a problem as the neighbor most impacted, frankly, right, as the next door neighbor, having support from them. So that was our intent.
Well, this visual of the adjacent lot is very helpful because it looks like, well, I can't tell, especially in this neighborhood, but would it be a buildable lot in the future? That really is the question. If it's not going to be buildable, I have no objection. But do we know?
Yeah, we don't know. And Ms. Brown, non-buildable lots don't exist anymore in the city.
That's why
People come with all kind of projects
Thank you.
to build on these lots. I get the hardship here because it is you're in a weird position where you don't have, as Marie said, you don't have the rear access to, put the garage there. We don't allow the front loaded. I mean, you would have to come to us if you did want to do front loaded anyway. So you're kind of in a catch-22 here with that situation. As well as the lot is vacant for now. And unfortunately, if someone, builds on that, they're probably gonna have to come to us or have to move the house. But, that's just something, that we dealt with before with these. So it's not a super uncommon situation, and I feel like that the applicant has tried to meet everything that they've tried to meet on this. And it just seems like that this one portion of the lot, is at 2 feet instead of 3. So that's just my spiel on it.
And
I'm gonna
Madam
go
Chair,
to, yes.
I did bring up the drawing here, and you can see, let me get back to it. If I zoom in, you can see that the front portion of the house is, in fact, because here's an extra foot, right? Let me put on the, they're calling out a foot right here. So that would mean that the front portion of the house does meet the 3 feet. And it is this portion, which is the garage. Part. And of course, the upper levels as well. So that's the situation.
Thank you. I'm gonna call on Ms. Voisinette for this case, and then we can deliberate further. Ms. Voisinette, you have a comment?
Oh, you're muted, ma'am. Still muted. There you go.
Hi, Alex. This is Jason over at Inside Holdings. I'm almost doing well today. Hey, I was just trying to check on the status of that window that you had been working on for us for the
Is someone talking? I can't hear.
I don't see, is Miss Voisinette still on? I don't see.
Yes. I don't even see her name.
I think she's under Earl now. I think.
Okay.
Okay. No. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay.
Who is this?
This is Patricia Voisinette, and I'm using my son's stuff. But I don't believe in the distance between the building and the adjacent lot. I don't care if those people approved it or not. It's not enough space. What if there's a fire? How are you going to get to that house? And I don't believe it should be 4 stories high. It doesn't comply with the rest of the neighborhood.
And ma'am, what was your address?
1026 Auburn.
And how far away is that from this house?
About 3 houses. Okay. And it's not that. I was in a similar situation. We won't talk about that, but no, I don't believe it's enough. I mean, the rest, I don't care what they take from the street to there. Why can't they just put it in the footprint there is there? There's a footprint there. So why can't they just build there?
Ma'am, do you realize this is a house on West 6th Street?
Yeah, I was thinking.
I think you're confused that this is. The house on Auburn. This is not on Auburn.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Auburn house has been postponed until December.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Oh, that's sick.
Thanks,
That's why I
Maurice.
asked
I
you-
was thinking the same. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but I was like, I don't want to get. Yeah.
I
Okay.
wasn't 100% sure where Auburn was in relation to West 6. That's why I brought up the map, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live there too.
Okay. Or any other questions?
My question was, and Maurice pulled up the plan view so we could look at those dimensions, and the garage being the only portion of the structure that is falling into the 2 feet from the lot line. So I realize that it still has to be approved by the 2 CDC groups. But in looking at this, can we go back to the elevation rendering, Maurice?
Absolutely.
Just so we can look at the height, because it looks like the top story.
It's HVAC probably.
So
Yeah, the
this
top
this
story.
view here,
The
yeah,
top
this view
story
here
is step back.
Yeah.
And to Mark, what exactly is going to be going on? It looks like most of the top story is deck area. Is that correct?
Sorry, I had to unmute. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So what is the portion of the top story that is enclosed and has glazing?
I'm going to reference the floor plans here too so that I can see it with you. So we have you come up a stair tower to a hallway, and then up there is an office for Mr. Price, like a work area.
Okay. So
loft area, and then you go outside to what is the terrace.
to the terrace. Okay.
The-
So
the
it's
other-
just
Oh, I'm
it's
sorry.
not it's only going to be an office area. It's not bedroom or anything like that. So
No, it's not. It's more of like a pocket office. It's not like a
Right.
grand, like corner office type thing. It's more of just kind of a little nook, so to speak. And one other thing too, everybody that may be looking at the plans, if you look too, I would think if I were on the other side of the argument, I'd say, well, how big's the garage? Can't you just shrink the garage a foot, move it over, right? Aside from the driveway. But if you look at the dimensions of the garage, it's a pretty minimal garage. As a custom home builder, I mean, we typically will do garages that are, I shouldn't say typical. Oftentimes we'll do garages that are 22, 24, 26 feet deep. If you look at our interior dimension there, it's at 19. So, luckily Mr. Price doesn't drive a big truck, with a
right.
plow or something on the front, or he wouldn't even be able to fit. But we're pretty tight there. I mean, I wouldn't, in a professional opinion as a custom home builder, I wouldn't make the garage any more efficient than that if it was on any size lot. So I can't just kick it in a foot. If someone said, why don't you just push in the wall on the right, line it up with the rest of the house, we're tight there. So you're talking about, I don't have the room. Otherwise, I promise we would. But the garage, to get it to really a minimal size, and then to have the functionality so Mr. Price doesn't have to turn and pull out like, Austin Powers doing a 5-point turn to get out of his garage. We need to have enough room for him to be able to pull out and pull down, maybe a 2-point turn at least to get out of there.
So Mark, the garage is 19 by what? What's the other dimension? I can't read.
24.
24.
Or no, 23. 23.
23. Okay.
Two-car
All right,
garage, but
so-
that 19 is the dimension
Right.
that matters to this group.
Yeah. So that's a smaller than typical garage. So I think you've shrunk that down. As you say, I mean, typically they're 22 by 24.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you've shrunk that to about as small as you can get it. Would you be willing to upgrade the fire rating on the wall is that the east wall of the garage then?
Sorry, can you define what exactly that means when you say upgrade the
Well,
fire rating?
you've probably got a 1-hour fire rating on that wall on the east side of the garage. Can you upgrade that to a 3-hour?
Yeah, I don't see that
Okay.
being an issue at all.
All right, I think if you make that modification, that will take care of concerns about, you know, any any house that might exist next door in the future to that side.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, that because that would retard any fire that might move from your structure. So, Madam Chair, I think you know, going over this, you pointed out that they have tried to fulfill every other requirement. I mean, we don't do front loading. They don't have alley access. He shrunk the garage as small really as you can get a 2-car garage. And the 4th floor is probably what bumped up their square footage. And that's just going to be, as he said, a pocket, sort of a loft office. So I would be comfortable with making a motion to go ahead and approve 21-120.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second, Ms. Barnes.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Barnes. Go ahead, call the roll, please.
And Madam Chair, are we putting the condition on this motion that they would provide a 3-hour firewall?
He agreed.
I don't think we can, but
We-
you can note that the appellant has agreed to do that, but we can't make it a condition.
Right.
Okay, will do. Ms.
Uh,
Brown?
we will do that.
Thank you, Mark.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Fay?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar 21-120 is granted. It will be ratified next week, and we will send you a letter.
Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate it. Sorry again, stumbling through a couple of the answers there. I appreciate your patience.
I think you did okay, Mark. So
Yep. We're glad you'll stay alive. We'll see you next
Yeah.
One more day.
one more day. You lived to
Thank you very
quarterback
much,
another game.
Thank you.
We'll see everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right, moving on, Madam Chair. We have a case postponed from August 30th, 2021. This is calendar number 21-135 at 3040 West 14th Street. W14 Lofts LLC owner proposes to install approximately new 91 linear feet of 6-foot-high aluminum decorative fencing in an actual front yard in a multifamily zoned district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinance as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. The first postponement was made at the request of the city to allow time for the appellant to meet with the Development Corporation and to clarify property line with city planning. And to you, Ms. Brown.
Oops, I'm sorry.
Brown, you're muted. If we can't
No,
hear
I'm ready. I'm waiting. Thank you.
you. Oh,
Sorry,
Swearing
Ms.
in-
Brown.
No problem. Thank you, Maurice. I am swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please state, I do, your name and your address.
I do. Patrick McConville, 3040 West 14th.
Patrick, can you, oh, I see it. Thank you. Can you state your address again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's 3040 West 14th.
Thank you. Anyone else
I
for
do.
this case?
Matthew Moss, City Planning Commission.
Okay. Actually, well, 601 Lakeside. Okay, everyone is sworn in, Madam Chair.
I do.
Donna Gregonis.
No, there's someone else.
I do. Donna Gregonis, Neighborhood Development Director for Fremont West Development Corporation. My address is 3308 Lorraine Avenue.
We should do a blanket approval for Donna so she doesn't have to keep swearing in with each case.
well, and I feel like we should just I don't know, just have Donna here. She's here every Monday. I feel so bad for her.
Sorry, guys. And you always know what I'm gonna say. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our office here, we found that there is one variance on file in calendar 66-264, and this was in 1964. A variance was denied to construct a parking area in the front of the two-family apartment house on the property address. Excuse me. And the parking was to be in the 40-foot front yard. This variance was again denied. And then, Madam Chair, in the more recent history, found that in 2010, a violation notice was issued to the property stating unauthorized use. And then between the years of 2014 and last year, September of last year, rental registration was issued to the property. And that's all that I have that's relevant.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from the fence requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay, who's the spokesperson for this project?
That would be me,
Me.
Patrick McConville.
Okay, Patrick, go ahead.
Yeah, so the reason for the fence really is, we've had a lot of issues with crime over there, having, 6 plus break-ins since July alone. We also have a lot of people parking on the property who don't live there. We've been averaging 8 tows a month for cars that don't belong there. And also there's excessive dumping going on at the property as well. Garbage gets picked up on Thursday and it's full by Saturday afternoon. So I think that this would give our residents a sense of security, something that we can't guarantee them, obviously, as landlords, but I think something that they deserve for sure. And also clean up, unwanted people, coming and going from our property as they please.
Okay, and so you had a postponement to make sure about where your property line was. So has that been settled?
We do have revised drawings, yes, for the property line. Is that what you're asking? I'm sorry.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, were those drawings submitted to the Board of Zoning Appeals?
Yeah, I'll send them a quick text message, just give a heads up if they should see someone from
Liz?
on their site this week.
I do not have any. I would have forwarded them on to Mr. Rulis.
Patrick, who you submitted to building and housing?
Say it again for me, I'm sorry.
You submitted the plans to building and housing?
I believe my owner did, but if you guys are saying you don't have it, then I can definitely get over to you.
Yeah, we need to make sure we have the most up to date before we can ratify decisions. Donna, once again. Hello, Donna.
Hi, good morning again. Donna Grigonis with the Neighborhood Development Director for Fremont West Development Corporation. So this has not come to the community, but we are speaking with the developer and Mr. McConville, who's here this morning. I actually just received some plans this morning about the drawing, about the fence, and I've talked to both the owner and Mr. McConville about the fact that we don't approve or don't usually love 6-foot fence fencing. It's a very large fence, and it sets a precedent that isn't the standard across West 14th Street. And there's other things that we can do to address some of the issues that they have, and we'd like to work with them, and we will be working with them to talk about plantings and lightings or other defensive mechanisms to mitigate some of the issues that they're talking about. But we will be meeting with them on Thursday evening to discuss this. So we also don't think that the fence helps with the safety issues because we've seen across both neighborhoods that a lot of times people will have a large fence and it's still the same issues that they're talking about happen. So we would like to talk to them in more detail and come up with a new plan. But we would request that you deny this based on that. And the developers are aware that this is what I was going to talk to you guys about this morning as well. So thank you.
Patrick, do you have any kind of picture of, I mean, I have in my mind like what this fence will look like, but do you have any kind of cut sheet about how this fence will look?
I do. I don't have anything to give to you guys. It's pretty much the standard black aluminum fence that you would see all around.
Thanks, Maurice. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there currently fencing on the side yards and rear yard? Or
Yeah, so there's wire fencing in the back and then on either side as well. It doesn't stretch all the way to the front of the property line, but there is fencing currently along each side of the building except for facing the street.
So is it chain link?
Chain link, correct. I believe on the south side of the
side
building.
yard as well?
Pardon me?
Is there fencing on the side yard as well?
So like the building to your left, the fencing will come up to just short of the front of the building.
Yeah, I can see where
all the
it
way
is.
all the way along the back and just a little bit further of where that white car is parked on the right side of the picture.
Thank you.
Yep.
So you want to replace the chain link. Is it currently 4 feet?
No, so I'm not even looking to replace that. I would probably extend it down to the front of the property where we'd like to put our new security fence, but would leave or add to the existing fence.
So you want to keep the chain link around the perimeter and then add this other type of fencing in the front?
Correct.
Yeah, no, that's very strange. City planning?
Do have looks like we do have Matt Moss here.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry, Matt. I forgot we swore you in. Sorry about that.
This is Matt Moss with the City Planning Commission. Yeah, to definitely encourage the owner to keep speaking with Fremont West and the community about how they feel this fits in with West 14th. But I don't see why a 4-foot fence would be code compliant along with a gate. I don't think they need a variance for a gate or the fencing itself. They could just submit a permit for 4 feet high of fencing and get it. It seems to me like they'd be able to get a building permit for that. So I think that would be sufficient in terms of keeping vehicles off the property. Hopefully, we have some construction activity going on the corner there for a new gas station. There's some property improvements being done, so hopefully that'll. And that gas station was designed under the urban overlay to encourage more walkability. So hopefully some of these changes will help generate some more street traffic, which might make people feel a little safer on West 14th Street. That plus the towpath trail. So just here to say that it seems like there's a code compliant way for this property owner to improve this property in this way. So I would just recommend that.
Yeah, Patrick, are you all open to making that fencing 4 feet? And if you are, you don't have to be here.
Well, we were looking to do something higher than 4 feet, obviously.
Okay.
But if that's something that we're kind of pigeonholed to doing, it may end up being the route that we have to go.
Yeah, I think if you make that, 4 feet, you can get your permit to do it, and then you can just continue working with Fremont West to try to circumvent some of those other problems that you're having in the parking lot there.
Madam Chair, I guess I have one question about the location of the gates, and I'm a little bit concerned that they're going to be right on the backside of the sidewalk. If that's going to cause any queuing problems, if that's going to be an automatic gate where people are going to have to come up and enter a code or put in their key card. If there's more than 2 vehicles, will that create a problem on West 14th Street? I guess it's I'm just curious.
Oh, I was
Actually,
gonna say,
there is
wouldn't that be
that's-
something that the building and housing will review if they go with new plans for 4 feet?
I don't know. I don't know if there is any requirements for the distance from the street. It's just a concern I just wanted to raise.
Oh, okay.
Ms.
right,
Brown
so-
has her hand raised. Literally.
Ms. Brown?
Yeah, she thought that was a good question. It's a fair question. Is it a motorized gate or a just a gate you have to move by hand that you have in mind?
No, the gate would first be installed as a manual gate, but we would have an operator attached to it, so you would be, garage opener type to open.
Oh, fobbing system. Okay.
Correct.
I just know
Okay,
that
well,
West 14th is a very, very busy street, and wouldn't want to have cars queuing up in the street if there's more than one person going in. That was the only issue I wanted to raise.
I really don't think that gate will ever be closed. That the residents are not going to be interested in that inconvenience.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, if it's automatic, they'll go through and it'll close behind them.
That's why I asked if it was motorized. He said something about a fob to allow you to unlock it. Is it going to just open and close?
No, it'll be, once finished, it'll be completely motorized, automatic.
Well, that was my question. You didn't answer it that way. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, we're not going to work out your plans for you here, Patrick, but I feel like you have a good starting point here. I think if you go with the 4 feet, you don't have to come back to us. And then you can work with Donna to, work with all the other security issues that you have there. And then if you find that you just really want, 6, you're just burning desire to have 6, you can always come back. So I think you should just withdraw your case for now, and then submit for the 4 feet fence and work with Donna with the other stuff. Does that sound like agreeable to you?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. So go
Great.
just to ask us for a withdrawal so it can be on the record.
Can I get a withdrawal for this?
Without objection, board?
Without objection.
Okay. Well, thank you, Patrick. Hopefully you don't have to come back and see us, but if you
Thank
do, we'll welcome you.
I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Alrighty.
Okay. That concludes our cases for today since 21-143 was postponed. So we're on to old business.
Great. Old business 2 through 7 without objection, board.
Without objection.
Without objection. Great job, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, I do have this is Liz, I do have an upcoming case that they've asked me, and this came in later on Friday after I'd completed the yield business. Dove Avenue, and this one is on the date of October 25th, so we'll have time to send out new notices. The applicant has determined that he would not be ready to go forward on the 25th and is asking to be bumped into November. We can give them the November 15th date. That's all right with you. And again, this gives us time to get it out to the neighbors so they will know not to come down on the 25th. But I think he's working with the community, to get the block club and everything. And
Okay, and we don't have a lot of cases yet on that date, right?
right. Oh, and again, this is calendar number 21-098, and we will also post that in the city record.
All right, that's fine with me.
What was the date in November again?
15th.
November 15th.
Thank you.
All right, well, good job, Member Brown, swearing in today.
Yes, thank
I knew
you
you could
so
do it.
much.
I knew you